It was a chilly morning in downtown Washington, D.C., the kind of morning where the cold seemed to sink deep into your bones, reminding you of every comfort you didn't have. On the corner of a busy street, people rushed past with steaming coffee cups in hand, bundled tightly in coats and scarves, their eyes fixed on where they needed to go. Among them sat a man who had nowhere to go. His clothes were torn and dirty, his face was weathered from nights on the street, and his eyes carried a heaviness that spoke of battles fought silently in the shadows. He was just another invisible figure in the crowd, another forgotten soul that society had learned to look past. That man was Thomas. Once upon a time, he had been like the people walking by. He had a job, a family, and a small home. But life has a cruel way of unraveling. A series of bad decisions mixed with bad luck had taken everything from him. His marriage had ended, his job had disappeared, and the few friends he had left had drifted away when his struggles became too heavy to carry. Now, all he had was a cardboard sign, a tattered blanket, and the courage to ask strangers for help. That morning, Thomas whispered a prayer under his breath. God, just one person on a broken bar, send me one person who will see me. He didn't know if anyone was listening, but hope was the last thing he could cling to. As he sat shivering, he saw a man walking toward him. At first, Thomas didn't recognize him. The man was dressed neatly, not in a way that screamed wealth, but with a kind of quiet dignity. His eyes were sharp but kind, and his steps steady. This man was Senator John Kennedy, though Thomas didn't realize it yet. Thomas swallowed his pride and called out, "Sir, a broken bar, can you give me $1? It wasn't much. A single dollar meant a hot cup of coffee, maybe something to warm his hands. A single dollar meant that someone acknowledged he existed. The senator stopped. For a moment, the world around them seemed to freeze. The people walking by glanced, then quickly looked away. Everyone expected Kennedy to brush the man off or toss a coin without thought. But instead, he crouched down so that he was eye level with Thomas. "Why just $1? Kennedy asked gently. Thomas blinked, unsure how to respond. He wasn't used to people talking to him like a human being. "Because a broken bar, that's all I need," he stammered. "Just enough to make it through this morning." Kennedy studied the man's face. He didn't see a beggar, he saw a story. He saw pain, yes, but also dignity in the way Thomas asked for so little. Then, in a voice calm yet firm, Kennedy said something that shocked not only Thomas, but everyone within earshot. "I won't give you $1. The words hung heavy in the air. For a second, Thomas felt his heart sink, as if rejection had once again come knocking at his door. But before the weight of disappointment could crush him, Kennedy continued, "Because your life is worth more than $1, I won't give you one. I'll give you 50. And then we're going to get you a meal, a hot shower, and some clean clothes. But you need to promise me one thing. Don't give up on yourself." Thomas stared at him, speechless. Tears welled in his eyes as Kennedy reached into his wallet and pulled out several bills, placing them carefully into Thomas's trembling hands. But it wasn't just the money that mattered. It was the way Kennedy looked at him, not with pity, but with respect. For the first time in a long time, Thomas felt like a man again, not a ghost on the sidewalk. Kennedy helped him up, and together they walked into a nearby diner. The senator ordered 2 plates of breakfast and sat across from Thomas as he ate. They really talked. Thomas shared his story, his regrets, his pain. Kennedy listened without judgment, nodding slowly, sometimes offering gentle words of encouragement. He reminded Thomas that everyone stumbles, everyone falls, but what matters most is whether you choose to stand back up. By the end of their meal, Thomas felt something he hadn't felt in years, hope. Kennedy gave him his card and said, "Call this number tomorrow. There are people who can help you find work." a place to stay. I'll make sure they know who you are. But remember, you asked for $1. That tells me you're not a man who wants a handout. You're a man who just needs a chance." Word of the encounter spread quickly. A passerby had recorded part of the exchange and posted it online. Within hours, the story went viral. People from across the country were moved by the senator's compassion. But more importantly, Thomas's life began to change. The phone call Kennedy promised turned into a meeting, which turned into an opportunity. With little support and a lot of determination, Thomas found his way off the streets. Months later, at a town hall event, Thomas appeared again, this time standing tall, wearing clean clothes, and carrying himself with quiet confidence. He shared his story publicly, speaking about the moment the man had refused to give him $1 and instead gave him something far greater: dignity, hope, and a future. The crowd erupted in applause, many with tears streaming down their faces. And in that moment, the lesson became clear: sometimes the smallest question, "Can you give me $1?" can open the door to the biggest answers. Sometimes the kindness of one person can change the entire trajectory of another's life. And John Kennedy, with his simple but shocking response, reminded the world of something we too often forget: that no life is too broken to be rebuilt, and no person is too far gone to be seen, heard, and valued.